All right, let's get into abdominal aneurysms. We've just done thoracic. Now we're going to go down to the belly. Okay. Now we've got Duke. Duke is writing these. And again, he's the fourth year medical student. He's at Harvard. And as we talked about in the prior post, we were discussing thoracic aortic aneurysms. And now we're going to go further down that aorta into the belly and talk about abdominal aortic aneurysms. And that would be AAA, AAA. Some people think a AAA stands for ascending aortic aneurysm, and it does not. I mean, it can in your world, sure. But if you talk about a AAA, people are going to generally accept that you're talking about the abdominal aortic aneurysm. You want to talk about an ascending? Go TAAA, thoracic ascending aortic aneurysm, if you want to do that. It's a lot of letters, I know. Again, an aneurysm is what? It's a bulge or a balloon, a stretched out area. It's just going to get larger than it should. And again, we like to talk about a garden hose. And a lot of people have garden hoses that are like 30 years old. And when you turn on that water full blast over and over for 30 years, usually closest to the spigot is where you might find a little bulgy area. So the green garden hose might start to look a little white as it starts to get a little too used. And you'll know you've used it too much when water starts trickling out of it or sprays out of it. That would be a rupture, ruptured garden hose. But it's the truth, right? It's a great analogy.
It is.
All right. Abdominal aortic aneurysm is a bulge of the aorta that extends through the levels of the abdomen. So you're beneath the diaphragm. And while the aorta is the largest vessel in your body, it's usually about 2 centimeters wide at the level of the abdomen. Okay. And this is, as we said, roughly the diameter of a garden hose. That's what's down there. It's much larger up higher, which I couldn't believe. It's definitely much larger. But when an aneurysm forms, it can be at risk for dissection or a rupture, which can be very serious and can be fatal. So let's take a look at what that would look like. And here we are, ba-bunk, there it is, right around the belly button area, right there in your abdomen. Again, in most cases, you're not going to have any symptoms with a AAA. It's going to be found accidentally on a scan, or if you have family history and they're going to check you out, they may find it. It's found incidentally. However, if it becomes large enough, people might feel this deep, constant pain in the belly area, a pulsation near the belly button, or persistent back pain. The larger the aneurysm grows, the more dangerous they all become, all of them. And the more common symptom of a ruptured aortic aneurysm in the belly area would be severe pain in your belly. And a ruptured aneurysm can cause massive bleeding, which can be fatal. So, risk factors of your abdominal aneurysm. Do you know what any of these are, Molly? I'm just trying to bring you into my world of just talking.
Oh, I believe you said smoking, heart disease in your family, older males, overweight, poor diet leading to diabetes or cholesterol levels.
Very good. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's going to be that word I like to say, atherosclerosis. And that's going to be hardening of the arteries, and that's usually from cholesterol or fat buildup, high blood pressure, as you said, blood vessel disease, trauma. You know, airbags are often a common source of issues with the aorta, whether it's lower or upper. The biggest known risk factors for a AAA would be increasing age, so over 65 years old and being male. Again, ding, ding, all the things you had mentioned. Other risk factors include long-term smoking, high cholesterol level, family history of aortic aneurysms can lead to an increased risk of having an aneurysm. My father had an abdominal aneurysm. I ended up with a thoracic, but didn't know any of this, so never was scanned until whammy, and I found out there it was. All right, so because these don't have any symptoms typically, they are usually detected or diagnosed from screening or during a routine exam. And the screening test is often done through an abdominal ultrasound. So that's usually the first way that people find it. And that's the easiest way they can figure out the size of that aneurysm. If you already know you have an aneurysm, then they can also do a CT scan. And surveillance with medical management is appropriate when it has a diameter of less than 5.5 centimeters in males or less than 5 centimeters in females. So this would involve medication to lower your cholesterol and blood pressure, stop smoking. which will actually help slow down the growth of this aneurysm, right? I know it sounds so easy to do, but there's a lot of different ways that different organizations can help with smoking cessation. So if you need that information, we can always get that to you. If the abdominal aneurysm is large, over 5 or over 5.5, and detected before it ruptures, most people will be advised to have surgery, and that surgery is typically to put a stent or put a prosthetic piece of material in the abdomen. If it ruptures, that's immediate surgery. Okay, so you'll have to go, you'll know, you'll feel pain. You'll have to go right to the ER and let them know that you have an abdominal aneurysm, and they'll put you right in for a CT, and then they'll take care of that. If you're at high risk for a thoracic aortic aneurysm, or you have a family history, you really do want to talk to your physicians about having your entire aneurysm screened. So that's abdominal. So far now we've covered what is an aorta, thoracic aneurysms, and abdominal aneurysms. We are making our way through.